19 rhetorical devices in 5 minutes.
Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of words. For example, in Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, the p sound is repeated over and over again in the beginning of the words. An anaphora is the repetition of a word or phrase in successive lines or phrases or clauses. For example, in King John, Shakespeare writes, "Mad world, mad king, mad composition." The word mad is an anaphora. An antithesis places opposite ideas or words in a balanced or parallel construction. In the play Julius Caesar, Shakespeare writes, "Not that I loved Caesar less, but I loved Rome more." In an aporia, the speaker expresses fake doubt by asking a rhetorical question. In the Bible, Jesus asked, "The baptism of John, whence was it? Of heaven or of men?" Now he knows it's of heaven, but he's using an aporia in order to make a point. In an epithesis, the author makes a sudden pause right in the middle of a sentence in order to have a dramatic effect. For example, if someone says, "Don't go or else," that else is where they pause and cut off the sentence, and that is an epithesis. In an apostrophe, the speaker turns from talking to the audience to talking to a specific person or object. In the novel Frankenstein, Mary Shelley writes, "O stars and clouds and winds, ye are all about to mock me." The narrator turns from talking to the reader to talking to the stars and clouds and wind. In a conduplicatio, a word is repeated over and over in successive phrases and clauses. There is an Oreo jingle that goes something like this: "Double stuffed Oreos, Milk's favorite cookie, with double the flavor and double the amount. Buy double stuffed Oreos today and you'll double your fun." The word double is a conduplicatio. In a euphemism, you replace an expression that may be considered rude or offensive with a more pleasant one. For example, you could say "he passed away" instead of saying that he died. In an hyperbole, you are exaggerating the facts for emphasis. For example, you could say, "I died laughing." And you didn't actually die, you're using an hyperbole for effect. In irony, you are using words or an expression that is contrary to what is actually taking place. For example, if you name an elephant tiny, you're using irony because the elephant is in fact very much not tiny. In a paralipsis, the speaker pretends to omit something but actually draws attention to it. For example, someone might say, "I won't even mention that my rival is a poor student." But in fact, they just pointed out that that person is a poor student. In personification, the author gives human characteristics to non-human objects. For example, the author might write, "The pen danced across the page," when we all know pens don't actually dance. In a polysyndenton, the author repeatedly uses conjugations for emphasis and rhythm. The author William F. Buckley says that they spoke the language of duty and morality and loyalty and obligation. So the word "and" is a polysyndenton because it's repeated over and over. In a rhetorical question, the author poses a question for emphasis but does not require a response. Shakespeare writes, "Art thou mad? Is not the truth the truth?" In a synecdoche, a part or quality of something is used in substitution of the whole, or vice versa. Someone might say, "She showed us her new set of wheels." A wheel is a part of a car, but in this case it's being substituted to refer to the whole car. In an understatement, the author de-emphasizes the importance of something in order to downplay its significance. For example, I could say, "The internet somewhat has helped improve international communication," which is way downplaying the fact that the internet has actually revolutionized international communication. In ethos, the author appeals to someone by using credibility. For example, if I said, "I have been mayor for 30 years already, you should elect me again," I'm using the ethos of being a credible person. In pathos, the author is appealing to someone's emotion. For example, I could say, "If you don't adopt this puppy, it will never find a home." And that is making you feel sad, so that way you try to adopt this puppy. Then the final one is logos. And logos persuades someone by using facts or statistics or logic. I could say 57% of students improve their grades by following such and such technique. and that would be an example of logos. Make sure to try to look for these next time you're annotating something, and maybe even try to use them in your writing. If you need more English help, we're available. You can book a private tutor at regaltutors.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe.